So, alcohol, gambling, fornication, which is marital relationship outside marriage, what it does is it destabilizes the society. You just go and speak with whoever else and so on and so forth, and you get unwanted child, and then say that's aborted, and the girl says no, I want it, and then she says no, I want you to look after it, and no, I didn't want it. Many young parents we know of, they come in saying, the partner's left, and she's now trying to bring up that child because women are different than men in various ways. So when they're pregnant, their internal biology tells them they don't want that to be aborted. They might be some way compelled by various elements in society saying, oh, you can abort it, it's okay. But lots of women don't want to. And now they want to have this child coming up with one parent themselves. The child that is now born and brings up himself in a one-parent family, psychologically is impacted already. How much torture they're going through, you and I would not know unless you are in their shoes. So it does really have a devastating effect on the society, the individuals that come out from this problem interaction. Islam recognizes all of that, saying, look, it wants to be a society which is thriving in prosperity, in harmony, in understanding, and in love, and all of these things. How does it ensure that? By giving mechanisms to it. So it's hudud, boundaries. Islam says, yeah, these are the things that are prohibited for you. You don't have anything else. Oh, you cannot drink alcohol, orange juice, banana juice, apple juice, carrot juice, tomato juice, you name it. I can just keep on going on. There's no restriction. But only few things Islam restricts, or they all do. Usury is another one I mentioned. Look at how the world's enslaved. Whether you talk about Rwanda, whether you talk about third world countries, talk about world enslaved by Islam. What Islam says, God and His Messenger has declared a war against riba. Declared a war. This is how serious it is taken. And Islam doesn't want people to be enslaved in that, because if you think about it, now I'm going to give you some rational understanding of it. What is usually interest? Imagine now, I have a house, my cost is broken, right? I want to repair it, but I have no money. You're my friend. I go to you. Now, if you're my friend, and I say, just give me 1,000 pounds, I'll give it to you 3 months, please. So yeah, no problem. That's it. Now imagine I go to another friend. He says, I don't know. Yeah, I'll give you money. But you have to give me 25% on top of that. 1,200. You know what this friend is doing? He is exploiting my vulnerability and my weakness at that point. Because I'm desperate. I need it. He recognizes my weakness and vulnerability, and he says, now you know what? Let's make some money. Okay, give me that. So this is a vulture. Okay? Someone who's greedy, someone who's not a compassionate person. Okay? So the whole system is set up like that with banks. They were set up by people, usually was people, with this kind of greed and exploitation mentality to exploit their weaknesses and vulnerability to other people. Islam says, no. Someone is in need, if you have the means, capacity, help them out, make a contract, and they will pay you back. There's no way saying, oh, deny and ask, are you going to give money? Lending, borrowing, Islam says, even if it's small, write it down and bring witnesses. So you don't regret it later. But do not take and give. So now we realize Islam provides a solution and it maintains the empathy. It doesn't become, between you and me, something like an exploitation. You are going to exploit my weakness. You're still going to show me to me the friendship that you have, rather than okay? So the whole world, if you think about it, the banking system is really exploiting the world with the beer. So it is exploit.
Sorry, this is a system that is placed to help those who are greedy and ready to exploit the people. So it is making their way of exploitation easier.
Making rich richer, poor poor. Now Islam goes with the counter way. We have an opposite concept, which is taking money from the rich and giving it to the poor to balance out the society.
Yeah, talk about the zakah.
Zakat. So with zakat, Zakat, if you look at the zakat in light of charity, if we talk about comparatively with the interest system, what is the interest system? Interest system is to make the rich one richer and the poor more poor. A poor person always need a loan. So if you go to a payday loan shop, they will give you, like just Brother Mansur said, £5,000, and they will charge you 50% interest. By the time you pay three installment, you will see another four installment carried on your shoulder. So that means you cannot come out of it. So they're gonna suck your blood by this institutional process. They signed you in.
Giving the opportunity
Exactly.
to
Blood sacrifice. So what Islam said, no, this is unfair. Now Allah legislated, Allah said, you know, when Allah given wealth to the rich people, He given a portion to the rich people to test the rich people. So whether they can give it out from their pocket. So when Allah gives this zakat, which means taking from the rich and giving it to the poor people. So what would happen? Now the harmony will be established within the society because the poor people will know that the rich are contributing. At the same time, there will be less gaps in economically, financially, and the harmony will be more established. So the whole Islamic system is fighting against to the traditional banking system that are exploiting the weakness. And that's why you see why there are so many poor people in the world. Because of this system that makes people poor, more poorer, and the rich more richer. But Islam says, no, no, no. You can't play these games.
right proportion of their
You can't play these games.
results.
Yes. You can't play this game. And then Allah laid out which are the category of the people should receive this zakat money.
So it's
This charity
basically,
money.
if you're rich, you are under obligation by God to provide a certain amount of money, 2.5% of your surplus wealth every year to a number of categories of people. And they are,
There are, so let me read out. This is in,
so that should,
in 960, I think. Let me read out.
so basically ensuring that the people who are poor, they're taken care of, looked after, and they don't totally remain poor. Zakat expenditures, this system of zakat charity, are only for the poor and for the needy and for those employed for it, and for bringing hearts together, and for freeing captives, and for those in debt, and for the cause of Allah, and for the stranded traveler, an obligation imposed by Allah, and Allah is knowing and wise. So, making sure these categories of people who are needy, they get saved. Just imagine. In fact, that's difficult to imagine now because this system is not implemented. But I can assure you, at one point during the Khalifa Umar bin Abdul Aziz, if I remember the history correctly, he was trying to look for someone to give zakat to, a poor person to give zakat to, and he was struggling to find someone. Because the system, Islamic systems of economics, Islamic systems of how to build a society, how to govern a society, how to implement crime and punishment, the economic system, the education system, all went in hand in such a way that the money wasn't staying on someone's own hand and the wealth and the health remaining someone one's hand. No, distributed. So he could not find easily someone to give this zakat because you have to be eligible for zakat. Like you have to be poor enough in these conditions, eligible enough to receive it. They were well off. Why? Because the system was working. We, unfortunately, when I say unfortunately, it's not about fortune or luck, we don't believe in that. I'm saying sadly, rather, we are in a state today where Islam is not shown to the people so they can't see it. We can't show you Islam. If we were to show you Islam, you would say, yes, this is what happened 300 years before. Muslim merchants, traders, they went and traveled around the world to do business and to spread Islam. People went to Malaysia, for example. Malaysia, Indonesia. There was no Muslim army that went there. People saw Islam in their actions of Muslims. They were traders, and they could see the traders honestly. Yes. I'm not going to stay here. So, when they went, people saw their actions, their life in action, their belief in action. their concept, right of wrong, whatever it's manifested in actions. So they said, look, this man or this woman who is truthful, honest, sincere, compassionate, helpful, just, fair, all that you can think of embodied in these individuals, not one. How so? So when they asked them and learned about it, they said, we are Muslims. We worship Allah, we give the right of God to God and right of people to people, right of creation to creation. And this is why God created us for to serve Allah, look after the creation. So they said, yeah, that seems reasonable. Your concept of God makes sense. Your concept of afterlife makes sense. Your concept of justice makes sense. Your concept of my being here, purpose of life makes sense. How do I become a Muslim? You only need to believe in your heart, testify with your tongue, and practice it with your limbs. That there is no God worthy of worship except one and only God. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the final messenger sent by God so that you can submit to the will of God through them. If the will of God is expressed through the messengers. The will of God is not floating around somewhere. When you submit to the will of God, you need to know where the will of God is, what the will of God is. The prophets and messengers are told what the will of God is. So they are the ones conveying this is what God wants from you. Be just, be truthful, be honest, be fair. All of the virtues. And avoid, don't be a lazy person. Don't be an oppressor. Don't be a rapist. Don't be a genocidal man. Don't be continuous like that. So there are these virtues and there are these evils. Islam says no. This is how you're going to elevate yourself. And that's why the Prophet said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ. Would you mind explaining to our friend what it means?
To fulfill the good manners, the good morality. And here, that, by the way, that shows fulfillment of the manners, meaning that basically many people, they may appear to you will manner, will behave, but not because they are doing it for the sake of God, but they are doing it for any matter. Could be for to be praised, to be known with that, or to gain things of this world. We are not doing it for anything else. We are doing it for the sake of God. Because God is the one who sees our secrets and what's in our hearts. And if we are sincere, when we are generous, if we are sincere, when we are truthful, if we are sincere, when we are trustworthy, all of these things, it has to come from sincerity to God before it's manifest as actions on earth.
Does that make sense that this is indeed a system of life worth living?
Yeah, it's appealing. It is appealing, but still I have my reservations
Sure.
in the sense that a person should make snap decisions here on something so important. So it's not really my way.
So how about exploring some of the things that you are considering to be something that you need to clarification of for? Like there's things in Islam that you've heard or seen or observed that you think, look, if Islam was true, why is that? It doesn't make sense to me yet. So maybe you can just talk about some of these things, and ourselves as we can try, and our sheikh here can help you to understand and clarify those things. Because once we can get this clarified, then you will see the reasons or obstacles for not becoming a Muslim becomes less and less and less, eventually to a point where saying, I have no reason but to accept Islam, to submit and surrender my will and show that commitment to the Creator. So, to fulfill the purpose, because that would be what you are supposed to do in the first place. But you are on a journey to make sure and ensure this is the case, and then show that commitment. So what would be those things?
Well, I would need to know more, wouldn't I?
Also, adding to this, I just wanted to add to this. There is the concept of the truth. All of us we are truth seekers, correct? Why we are truth seekers? All of us, we're in our journey for seeking the truth. But there is something in our mind, which is planned in our mind, the truth to be followed. Yeah, you agree with this? Meaning, if there's something true, it has to be followed. I cannot say to you, for example, if there is an exam or something like this, they say this is the true answer, this is the false answer. You will not say, you know what, let me check the false one and let's see. I'm saying to you, this is the truth. If it demonstrates that this is the truth to be followed, So what we are saying as Muslims, we claim Islam is the truth. Now here, if we prove to you that Islam is actually the truth, which is the truth from God, then there is nothing on us except to surrender to the truth. Am I right in saying this?
Well, what you're saying, I mean, I wouldn't argue with it, but I don't think you could prove to me that it's the truth today. I mean, that would take time. As far as I'm concerned, of course, it would take time because I would need to know more. I wouldn't claim to go and learn a subject in a few minutes. It's not practical. Whatever I'm getting into, yeah, I need to sort of look into it properly, thoroughly, yeah. Because I can't just okay. If I leave from here, I'm walking down the road, I bump into a Jehovah's Witness, and they come hard at me, and they say, "Oh, this is blah blah blah, this blah blah blah, this is the truth." Well, then, if I just accept, yes, okay, it sounds nice, and I accept it, then I'm a Jehovah's Witness, and the next thing I could be a Hare Krishna. So
You
it
need
isn't
to assess
something.
and verify.
Of course you need to evaluate
Assess,
what you
evaluate,
get, and
verify, and then accept.
yeah, and me personally, that would take time. I can't be rushed.
No,
It doesn't make
that's
sense.
not an issue at all.
Okay, could I just say that's one of the reasons maybe why some people in this park even today say that they're ex-Muslims, and I don't know all their reasons,
You should
but,
ask.
but
Ask,
I can only.
inquire. And then we can
They're
talk.
normally well into some argument. I just stand
No,
and
no,
listen.
what you can do, you can
And,
ask them and inquire them, and we can talk about it as we said, and we can demonstrate to you that this way. I mean, I can tell you right now. I mean, this is something that I can say with a bold face that it was never intellectual reasons, nothing to do with truth claims. It was an emotional reasons.
Mostly, yeah.
Emotional reasons mostly. So emotion can be packaged and baggaged in various ways, and by examining their conversion from or reversion from or deconversion, whatever you want to call it, this element is present. All we need to do is demonstrate that it's not intellectual, it's not about a truth claim.
Yep.
Like Islam was not found to be truth, that's why I left it. No, it's because of some emotions. Like, what is it I can share with you? Oh, your prophet married someone so young. That's why I left Islam.
Yeah, I've heard
Have you heard?
that.
Have you heard? But let me tell you.
No, I've heard that, but to me, it's not so much an issue.
Exactly.
Because at the time, yeah, maybe it was acceptable at the time, and if it was wrong, yeah, and if there's a judgment day, it will judge accordingly. So, me as a person, I live in these times, so I have to kind of focus on these times, yeah.
That's true.
And so it isn't something that I would say it's its proudest moments, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
So
and I'll leave
I
it
wasn't
at
going to
that.
justify to you, the Islamic position on that. What I'm illustrating is a point that people often make an assertion, a claim that was the reason, but actually deep inside they know it wasn't that. They're
Well,
trying to find reasons retrospectively to justify
Yeah,
their
I couldn't accept that as a reason for somebody leaving if they